Dear Ugandans in the diaspora, there is more to investing in Uganda than buying land, especially land you have no idea of what plans you are buying it for. One of the two major reasons the prices of land have continued to skyrocket beyond reach of many Ugandans is the major one is the corruption money in real estate and the diaspora appetite for buying land anywhere and accumulating titles you have no idea of what you're going to use it for. Now, this is a general blanket advice, and I'm going to be a little bit biased. So if you might get triggered, do not go past this. But you work extremely hard for your money in the diaspora to always send money to an agent to buy you a plot of land to send a title to your brother or sister to keep. For what? Then when the time comes, maybe you have your kids, they cannot even go back home in Uganda to utilize that land because there is too much. It's just sitting there doing nothing, you know. It's not within their reach. You have a farmland. Then some of you have bought land and constructed some nice houses like this one that they look amazingly nice. But you stay in it once a year. You've spent 500 million and above to construct a what you would call a white elephant to you that you barely live in. But you wonder why you do not have money. Why? Yet you can invest better that 500 million, and every time you are in Kampala you can even stay in the best hotel possible. You can Airbnb for someone else's company. You can go in a nice hotel and get treated while that money that you have put in a house is doing something. You've spent 500 million, bought land, put on the construction of a house that you do not stay in even once for more than a month in a year. Why? There is more to that. There is more to Kampala than real estate. That's not to say you shouldn't invest in real estate, but can we do better? Can we do better as the diaspora? You pay $400,000 for this because you have worked for 4 or 5 years in the diaspora. Now you have a lot of money. How much would you pay for this where you're staying in right now? How much is such a house going to bring you? You know, this one it belongs to one of the estates on Entebbe Road where they are selling a 5 bedroom, 8 bathroom for $400,000. You know, $400,000. Can we have a little bit of respect for $400,000? $400,000 is literally what 1.5 billion. How much money are you going to rent this house for? Even if you have to put it on Airbnb, how much is it going to bring you? You are in the diaspora. We work hard. I'm part of the diaspora. We work extremely hard to get this money. And you go get $400,000 to put it there. Can we for a moment take a step back? Can we for a moment stop listening to people who talk about real estate because that is their trade? I'm talking about you and I who are trying to buy land because we think it's the safest investment. A 1.5 billion to buy a 5 bedroom house, how much money can you make with 1.5? Even if you have to put it in a unit trust to give you 11%, it will make you 161 million in Ugandan shillings. And maybe you understand the US dollar equivalent, right? You get $400,000 and put it in a unit trust, it's going to get you over 40,000. Get a UGX equivalent. Then every time they pay you every year, you will get over 40,000 every single year. That is 10% of your investment. How much money is this house going to bring you? Even if you have to put it on Airbnb, the diaspora, people in Europe, people in America, you work very hard. Can you get released by the real estate shenanigans of you having 30 titles that you bought since 2000 and they are doing nothing? They are seated doing nothing, but you are convinced you have money. For 10 years, you bought the plot of land for 10 million. 30 years, 20 years later, you're selling it for 50 and you think you have made money. No, there's better way. At least for a moment, diversify. But you find the diaspora people who have over 50 titles sleeping with them. Then when tomorrow, when the eventualities happen, their kids can't even use those titles. Why? This is one of the estates we have on Entebbe Road. Many of you know it, you know, and it is one of the estates that almost it's the diaspora that have heavily invested in it. But they are not staying in them, but they were convinced that they have to put them on Airbnbs. And they are good business. Airbnb is a good business. I will analyze it one day. But how much? You paid $120,000 for it. And every single year you get just $5,000 from that Airbnb. Where is the mathematics in that? 5,000 divided by 120,000, you're just getting around 5%. 5% return in Uganda. Uganda, you should be investing that everything you're investing in Uganda should be giving you at a minimum 10%. If it's not giving it to you, put the money in a unit trust. How many Airbnbs do you have? I have so many clients who bought these things for 120,000 as soon as they were done in 2021. Now they are trying to sell them for even just 100 and no one is buying. Can we take step back? It's okay to own assets. It's okay to own real estates. It's okay to own apartments. But can we step back and say, okay, I have three of them? Even if you have kids as a parent, even if you have kids, even if you have kids, you have to think for them. Now there is the diaspora people who have constructed mansions. Yes, where we live, it's hard to own houses, but we always want to feel at home when we go back to such mansions. You know, they are seated. They are in Arkwright project. They are in Gayaza. They are in wherever. They are seated big. 300 million, 400 million. That's why actually the majority of the developers right now they are targeting the diaspora. Why? Why would you put 400 million, over $100,000 in such that you're better going to stay in? Why? You know, you put 120,000 in in a house you're going to stay in once every twice a week, twice a year, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Then you put it on an Airbnb, it makes you just $1,000, $2,000. 400 million can make you close to 60 million every single year. At a bare minimum, I'm not going to even talk about treasury bonds this time around. I'm going to focus on unit trusts. That a house of 400 million versus someone who has put 400 million in a unit trust, whether it's UAP, Old Mutual, whether it's Sanlam, Britam, my friends at Zeno, SBG, Cornerstone, any of those, ICEA, they're going to get 11%, sometimes even 12%. And for you are seated with your land titles, you're sleeping with them. I have 10 land titles. You bought them in 2019 at 40 million. Now someone tells you that land is worth 80 million. You try to look for someone to pay you 80 million. You can't see anyone. But you listened to a motivational speaker to sell you your land, you know, because he said, okay, this is for the diaspora. Ask yourself, why would they target just the diaspora alone to sell you to this? You are traveled, you are in the Europe. Is this well developed? Then they tell us a well developed estate. What is well developed to this? That every house looks wherever it's looking, someone's flat, it's just the disorganization alone. But beyond the disorganization alone, then you have the value for your money. Value for your money. You are putting something in Uganda to generate income. That I assure you, even if you put it in a unity trust, if anything can't give you 10%, at least put your money in a unity trust. You have made it extremely impossible because they know the land brokers and the land agents and the sellers and the promoters of land, they know they will always have the diaspora to sell to. So that means they can always inflate the price. But if we can fight the price, for the price to go down, yes, real estate will be extremely attractive. But you are invested in these $400,000 paying for what? Then there is you who are obsessed with rental apartments. I'm using the word obsessed because you do not care how much the return is going to be. You do not do the due diligence which location to put in. You do not do the due diligence of how much you should be charging for you to break even. You just construct, you pour in 700 million for apartments to just bring you 40 million in a year. 5% return. Yes, you'll have an asset on your asset, but 700 million should be giving you a minimum 80 million in a year. Why? You work at the hardest for your money, you know? And we are trying to say no. Can we learn better? Can we stop buying these ghost things? When you have to walk around and you see the majority of the land in Kampala right now is owned by the diaspora, they have no plan of whatsoever. Maybe they have a house, they have to put on apartments, they have not even assessed. You bought land in Busika, someone told you it's the next future. You bought land in Gayaza, in Nakauka. 5 years later, nothing. You bought land in Kasanje, deep in Kasanje, because they told you the expressway is coming. 5 years later, nothing. You bought land in on Kitende. You spent over 600 million to put up such nice apartments. Now you're looking for someone to give you rent of 20 million, of 2 million. They are not going to come. Then you go to uh, Chira, you buy a plot of land 50 by 100 at 200 million. By the time you're done constructing, you look for someone to give you just even 700k. They are saying no. Why? The return on real estate, the prices need to come down. We need to advocate for prices to come down. And one way, the one first sure way is to make sure there is the effective demand comes down. And one sure way is to make sure you are not the corrupt guys. The corrupt guys have nowhere to put their money. But for you, your money is hard earned. Can we put it better? Can we invest it better? That if you're in the US, you might even make more money by putting that money in an ETF. Go and put it in an S&P 500. You are in the UK, go to the London Stock Exchange and look for the most dominant ETFs and invest your money there. You are in Europe, there are stock exchanges, the Frankfurt Stock Exchange. You have somewhere you can put your money. Do not, instead of putting it in the ghost that is inflating everything, that the return is bare even 6%. That then 30 years later, the child will go back and like, what should I do with that dilapidated land that is there? The titles, they don't know where to sell them. Even if you have to invest in a unit trust, it is a cash flow generating asset that every single month or every single year, it can give you enough money that you can always exchange in dollars and send it out from Uganda for you to take care of you in the US, in Europe, in Sweden, in Denmark, where you are. My friends in the diaspora, you can do better. Can we accept that land is not the only investment in Uganda? Can we accept that we can do better and invest our money better beyond land? Do not get your first 50 million and the first thing you are thinking of is buying land when you don't even know what you're going to do for it, when you do not even have a feasibility study, a viability of the project you're going to do there. But because you are walking around with inshallah, it will work around. No, we can do better. Thank you.